There's no getting around it. Throw Momma from the Train is a very strange film. Offbeat, awkward, tonally confused and populated by largely unlikable characters, it sits in that peculiar corner of 1980 cinema where black comedy, farce and outright oddity all collide, and not always gracefully. Directed by Danny DeVito and starring DeVito himself alongside Billy Crystal, the film is remembered today less for its central pairing and more for the one truly unforgettable performance, that of Anne Ramsey's terrifying, indelible turn as Momma Lift. At its core, the film is a darkly comic riff on Alfred Hitchcock's Strangers on a Train. Billy Crystal plays Larry Donner, a blocked writer and deeply neurotic mess of a man whose bitterness towards his ex-wife borders on obsession. She has allegedly stolen his work, found success and moved on, leaving Larry stewing in resentment and self-pity. Crystal leans hard into Larry's frustration, anxiety and perpetual complaining, but the result is a protagonist who is frankly exhausting. Larry is loud, selfish, whiny and rarely sympathetic. While Crystal is an undeniably gifted performer, this is not one of his best showcases. Instead of charming neurosis, we get something closer to relentless irritation, and the film never quite gives us a reason to care deeply about Larry's predicament. Things though take a bizarre turn when Larry begins teaching a writing class and meets Owen Lift, played here by Danny DeVito. Owen is socially awkward, literal-minded, emotionally stunted and utterly devoted to his abusive, overbearing mother, Momma Lift. Owen misinterprets Larry's bitter ranting about wanting his ex-wife dead and takes it not as a metaphor but as a genuine request. From there the film descends into an increasingly strange spiral of misunderstanding, murder fantasies and grotesque domestic comedy. DeVito's Owen is unquestionably more interesting than Crystal's Larry. There's a sad innocence to him, a childlike devotion that borders on tragic, even as it fuels the film's darkest jokes. DeVito as a performer understands exactly how to play this type of character, someone both pitiful and unsettling. The chemistry between DeVito and Crystal is solid and their scenes together crackle with energy, but that chemistry alone can't fully overcome the script's uneven tone and lack of narrative momentum. As a director, Danny DeVito is competent here, but clearly he is still finding his voice. This was only his second feature behind the camera, and while you can see flashes of the filmmaker he would later become, particularly in character-based moments and visual comedy, Throw Momma from the Train often feels uncertain about what kind of movie it wants to be. Is it a black comedy, a slapstick farce, a psychological satire, an offbeat character study? The answer seems to be a little of everything, which ultimately leaves the film feeling unfocused and oddly static. For long stretches it feels like it's spinning its wheels, never fully committing to its darker impulses, nor leaning hard enough into outright comedy. And yet, whenever Anne Ramsey appears on screen, the film suddenly comes alive. Ramsey's Momma Lift is one of the great screen monsters of the 1980s cinema, grotesque, domineering, vicious, and horrifyingly believable. She is emotionally abusive, physically violent, manipulative, and utterly devoid of warmth. Ramsey delivers the performance with such conviction that it is genuinely unsettling, but you cannot take your eyes off of her. She is absolutely fascinating. You don't laugh at Momma Lift, you recoil from her, even as the film insists on mining comedy from her cruelty. What makes Ramsey's performance even more remarkable is how little screen time she actually has. Momma Lift appears only for about 10 minutes in the entire film, yet she completely dominates it. She feels omnipresent, looming over Owen's life, even when she's not physically on screen. Every slap, every insult, every cruel command lands with terrifying authenticity. The authenticity was shaped in part by Ramsey's real-life circumstances. By the time of filming, she had already undergone extensive surgery to treat throat and esophageal cancer, including the removal of parts of her tongue and jaw. The resulting speech impediment became a defining feature of her late performances, not as a gimmick, but as an extension of her physical presence. During the production of Throw Momma from the Train, Ramsey was reportedly undergoing additional oral surgery and enduring intense pain. Despite this, according to DeVito, she never once asked to be excused from work. Her dedication would pay off. Ramsey's performance earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress, along with the Golden Globe nomination to boot, and she would go on to win the Saturn Award. Tragically, she would die of throat cancer in 1988, just 6 months after the Oscars ceremony. This role became her most celebrated and enduring, a grim irony given how closely her physical condition shaped the character's impact. The film's trivia only adds to its peculiar legacy. Ramsey performed her own stunt during the scene where Momma Lift nearly falls from the train. No stunt double, no safety net. She also slapped Danny DeVito for real on camera. While hesitant to do so, DeVito insisted on authenticity. These moments underscore just how committed she was to the role, even under difficult physical conditions. Other behind-the-scenes details highlight the film's strange charm. The coin collection scene, where Owen proudly shows Larry his prized possessions, was inspired by DeVito's own childhood habit of enthusiastically sharing whatever obsession he had at the time. He also collected coins with his father. DeVito felt strongly about including such a moment to humanize Owen, and writer Stu Silver crafted the scene accordingly. The film nearly ended on an even darker note. One original ending revealed that Momma Lift died after choking on a salted nut, a cruelly ironic demise. Ultimately, the released version opted for a slightly softer punchline, though the film still closes on a morbid joke. Set in present-day 1987, the final scene jumps forward a year, with Larry asking Owen how his mother is doing. Owen then bluntly replies, "Dead." This lands with some uncomfortable finality. In an eerie coincidence, Anne Ramsey herself died in 1988, a year after the film's release. Even the title carries an odd linguistic history. Originating from the Patti Page song written in Pennsylvania Dutch dialect, despite its literal phrasing, the line actually means "throw Mama a kiss from the train," not the violent act the film jokingly suggests. Interestingly, the casting could have been very different. Bill Murray was considered for the role of Larry Donner, while Robin Williams was eyed for Owen Lift. One can only speculate how these choices might have altered the film's tone, perhaps softening Larry's abrasiveness or leaning further into the manic absurdity. In the end, though, Throw Mama from the Train is a film defined by contradiction. It's quirky but not always funny, dark but rarely sharp enough, anchored by performances that don't quite align in tone. Danny DeVito would go on to become a far more sure director, and Billy Crystal would deliver many stronger performances elsewhere. This film, though, feels like a stepping stone, an experiment rather than a triumph. And yet Anne Ramsey's Momma Lift elevates the entire project. She's unforgettable, horrifying, magnetic, and utterly committed. Without her, the film would likely be forgotten. With her, it remains a curious, uncomfortable, oddly fascinated slice of 1980s cinema. For that singular, phenomenal performance, and despite its many flaws, Throw Mama from the Train earns a 6.5 out of 10. A strange little film, uneven, soft, frustrating, but forever haunted by one of the most memorable supporting performances of the era. So what did you think of Throw Mama from the Train? Please let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dive reviews.